show. Ready to go. Who is going to talk first? Who's going to talk first? Oh, got good service right here. Up and down. Not terribly bad. We got so much. Man, no one's in yet? It must be early. Oh, we got one. One came in so far. Oh, we got four. Now look, you got four y'all here. Who's going to talk first? Who is going to start talking? We are just waiting for our lovely YouTube to work. YouTube is. YouTube likes to take their time. I'm ready to go. There's three y'all here. No, before y'all got here, so that means you all, the three are here now, need to hit the like button. Like and share. Okay? All of those things are free. Now there's five y'all here. Come on. You guys can start the like button. Oh, we lost now. The lit third's a lot dirty. So we're gonna, in the meantime, we'll play some things here. Hopefully more comes in. And go from there. I mean, usually, I don't usually go live on Friday, but I just like doing it. Come on, let's go, YouTube.
President Trump gets a huge Supreme Court ruling in his favor. It is perfectly in line with what MAGA voters want and the efforts of DOGE. Trump's national security advisor from the first term, John Bolton, has his home raided by the FBI at 7 a.m. to find classified documents stolen and used to publish his latest book. Citizens of Washington, D.C. are so happy with crime dropping and the safety provided by President Trump that now President Trump is saying it's time to go into Chicago. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. There's a lot to get.
YouTube, hold on, I know. You gotta cry like a damn bitch. I don't care. We'll see. I don't care what the littards say. Your littards are gonna call and complain. This is what YouTube does. This is why I hate YouTube so badly. But I've asked you guys all to go to Rumble. I know we've done it. Rumble now. Been acting up too. I don't know. It's just a never ending. Alright, come on. Anytime they go. Good. There's 6 of y'all here. And only 2 likes that were there before y'all got in this thing here. So that means every one of y'all, make sure you hit the like button. None of those things cost you guys money. So I don't know why you guys can't do it. Nothing costs you money. It's all free. But you guys don't like. You guys just like to come here and watch for free and don't want to do nothing. Don't want to hit the like button. I mean, I don't understand why you guys. What's hard for you guys to reach over and hit the button? They're quick to pre-record me when you don't have permission, and go on and make things video me on your X page and everything else, and your libtard pages. It's all you want to like. Come on. There was 2 before. We're gonna keep going, everybody.
President Trump gets a huge, perfectly in line with what MAGA voters want and the efforts of DOGE. Trump's national security advisor from the first term, John Bolton, has his home raided by the FBI at 7 a.m. to find classified documents stolen and used to publish his latest book. Citizens of Washington, D.C. are so happy with crime dropping and the safety provided by President Trump that now President Trump is saying it's time to go into Chicago.
I can't
Thank
wait.
you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. There's a lot to get through, so let's jump right in. The Congressional Budget Office released that President Trump's tariffs could pay down $4 trillion of national debt over the next 10 years. So the Congressional Budget Office put out a new report saying, based on all of the tariff money that President Donald J. Trump is bringing in, that it will actually start paying down the national debt for the first time in I don't even know how long. The real question is, will Congress actually do that?
What is going on?
Ladies, be careful. And lost 6 pant sizes in just a few weeks. I had to stop because my husband said I had already
dollars, and it's supposed to go towards paying down the national debt. However, Congress is famous for falling into old patterns and finding a million new ways to waste money. Former National Security Advisor and Trump critic John Bolton had his Maryland home raided at 7 a.m. with a court-approved search warrant for classified documents after it came out that he had them and that they showed up in his latest book. President Trump said John Bolton is a lowlife, but he was not personally briefed on the 7 a.m. raid and did not know about it until this morning. This was entirely the FBI and the DOJ working together to go get these classified documents. Now, I think that this is a big deal. This is something that unfortunately happens on a pretty regular basis, especially if somebody is trying to get a book. Let me go ahead and show you some footage from that, and then we'll react to it together.
Realize this, but there was a probe going on when President Trump was in office last time because John Bolton wrote a book. And he violated his NDA, the president said, in doing it. And he felt as though there were classified information in that book. The probe dropped when Joe Biden became president. So is this picking up where that left off, David?
It's possible. I don't know with 100% certainty, but it is notable, guys, that John Bolton, Ambassador Bolton's security clearances were stripped earlier this year by President Trump. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, took that security clearance away. They had concerns. The administration had concerns about Ambassador Bolton still being able to access some of these documents and have some of those security clearances. It's also notable that John Bolton had a security detail as well. Because of the threats from Iran on his life, that security detail, that government federal paid security detail, was also taken away by President Trump. So Bolton was to have to get some private security. So we're looking outside his home right now in Bethesda, Maryland. We're told that Ambassador Bolton's being cooperative. He's not under arrest, not in custody at this point, but still notable, 7 o'clock on a Friday morning, that the FBI all of a sudden is knocking on the door of John Bolton's home. And I also will say it's important that, this is not just the FBI able to do this. A judge has to sign off on this. There are other layers involved here. It's not just The
You're
FBI
the
says,
first
let's go to
one
John
here
Bolton's
talking.
house tomorrow morning and see if he has any
So you
classified
should be really
documents. There are
proud of
certainly more procedures in there. A judge and others would have had to sign off on this, as well as people at the Justice Department, presumably Attorney General Pam Bondi. No comment right now, though, from the Justice Department. No comment from the FBI as well.
All right. Just like with former President Joe Biden, this stuff ends up showing up in books that are published. They start bragging about having these classified documents, and it's illegal to do that unless they are declassified or you're given permission. That is against the law. So John Bolton, as of right now, is not under arrest. He is cooperating, and President Trump says, I don't like the guy, but I also had nothing to do with this. This had to do with judges, the DOJ, and the FBI. However, at the same time, Vice President J.D. Vance was set to do an interview, and he decided that he wanted to chime in on John Bolton and the 7 a.m. raid.
We've learned that the FBI is searching the home of former Ambassador John Bolton, his office as well.
Sure.
Can you tell me, why is the FBI raiding Ambassador Bolton's home and office? And did the White House get a heads up?
Well, so we're in the very early stages of an ongoing investigation into John Bolton. I will say we're going to let that investigation proceed. What I can tell you is that unlike the Biden DOJ and the Biden FBI, our law enforcement agencies are going to be driven by law and not by politics. And so if we think that Ambassador Bolton has committed a crime, of course, eventually prosecutions will come. But as you know, Kristen, this is all part of gathering evidence, trying to understand something that we're worried about. And of course, I'll let the FBI comment on the next stage of the investigation.
What's at the root of this? Is this about classified documents?
Well, again, I'll let the FBI speak to that. Classified documents are certainly part of Ambassador Bolton. They're going to look into it. And like I said, if there's no crime here, we're not going to prosecute it. If there is a crime here, of course, Ambassador Bolton will get his day in court. That's how it should be. But again, our focus here is on, did he break the law? Did he commit crimes against the American people? If so, then he deserves to be prosecuted.
All right. So again, he is not under arrest as of right now. There is a larger investigation, and a judge, based on evidence presented to them by the DOJ and the FBI, signed off on this warrant to go and basically search through his house and see if there was anything really there. So I'll continue to update you as I have more details on that. All right, now the crime is dropping very, very quickly. I'll tell you more about President Trump giving hamburgers and pizza to law enforcement and park police and the DC police, but he's getting a lot of calls from other cities, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Seattle, saying, please, we need your help to crack down. President Trump said he's actually tempted to send the National Guard into Chicago right now, just because people are asking for it. Let's go ahead and see what he had to say today from the Oval Office.
We have to. And after we do this, we'll go to another location and we'll make it safe also. We're going to make our Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York. We're going to help with, and I think a lot of these people that you see on television, they are, including the people in this audience, they'll say bad things about me, and then they'll say, thank God he's here, because half of them got mugged.
So that's probably P. Ray in Chicago. I had her on the show many times. There is a massive conservative movement going on in the city of Chicago right now. And they're not saying we want less police. They're saying we want more police. We want more criminals held accountable. We want more illegal immigrants removed so that housing can be affordable, so that we can have those jobs as American citizens. There are people in Chicago that are 7th and 8th generation African Americans, and their communities were absolutely overrun. Thousands and thousands of dollars of free food and free money from the government. Totally unfair, but Trump is not going to do what he did in his first term. He was very slow to act when it came to riots, burning down buildings. He kept waiting for governors and mayors to handle their own situation. I think he learned his lesson and realized, wait a minute, I guess I'm going to have to be the adult in this situation and go make things happen. So I'll continue to keep you guys updated on all of that. All right, I have some other big stories, but first 60 seconds from today's sponsor. If you're stressed about back taxes, maybe you missed the April deadline or your books are a mess, don't wait. The IRS is cracking down. Penalties add up fast, 5% per month.
Go do it. I'm sorry I looked tired. YouTube's going slow today. I know you guys want to go do something else.
If I died tomorrow, I'd have only one regret. Not telling everyone losing their memory, including you, T, about this. I know it sounds insane.
From repaving roads and fixing medians to removing graffiti. Some of that graffiti has been there for decades. He wants to do maxed out terms of beauty, or what the young people call look maxing. So Trump pointed to more than 630 arrests since August 11th. 250 of those were undocumented illegal immigrants, and even said he was eager to join the patrol himself. So he went on a patrol ride last night. Still, not everyone is supportive. A portion of the DC Democrats say, we don't want more police. We don't want the help. Now, following this visit, Trump hosted a celebrity dinner at the same headquarters. He personally helped to serve hamburgers and pizza to police and National Guard. And it seemed like everybody was having a pretty good time. I'll just show you some of that right now so that you can get a feel for what it was like.
And I think you brought some food for him, didn't you, President?
So we have great hamburgers cooked by the White House, and we have pizza that I said, don't do it in the White House because we went to a place that makes the best pizza. So we'll concede. But we have a lot of it, so we're going to have some fun. We'll eat, and I'll eat with you, and we're going to have a little fun. We're going to celebrate, but then we're going to get back to work, and we're going to take care of these criminals. We're going to put them where they have to be. We're going to say, don't play around with us. Don't play around with us. So let's go have something to eat. You're going to like the hamburgers? Would you rather have hamburgers from the White House or pizzas from a good place, huh? I think you want, they want the hamburgers. Have a good time, everybody.
All right, so they celebrated. President Trump loves law enforcement. He's always encouraging them. Under Biden, Border Patrol saw the highest spike in suicide rates because the men and women that wear the uniform on the border were literally told, stand down, allow the invasion of our country. Police have been told, let these criminals back onto the street. It's very, very demoralizing. So he didn't just show up with gourmet burgers and pizza. He showed up with morale, a giant morale boost. Everyone was excited. Then, like he said, let's get back on the streets. Let's make this place safe again. And people were very, very excited about that. All right, let me just show you one more thing, because he also praised the amazing job they've been doing. 35% drop in violent crime, 50% drop in robberies. That's just in 10 days. So Trump encouraged a lighthearted atmosphere, but then said, we got to get back to work. So let me go ahead and show you a little bit more from that, because people were very encouraged to have the president show up.
It's a healthy, attractive looking group of people. Well, I just want to thank everybody very much for being here. I wanted to do this. We've had some incredible results. The results have come out, and it's like a different place. It's like a different city. It's the capital. It's going to be the best in the world. We're going to do what you're doing with law enforcement, and very importantly also, we're going to physically do it. We're going back to Congress for some money, and we're going to redo a lot of the fees all coming off real fast. It's going to come down real fast. We're working with Clark Construction.
All right. So he goes on. He gives a speech just about how much has been done since he took office. And again, everybody was, a lot of morale was there. So Trump also posted on Truth Social, writing, Washington, D.C. is safe again. The crowds are coming back. The spirit is high. Our D.C. National Guard and police are doing a fantastic job. They are out in force and are not playing games. As bad as it sounds to say, there were no murders this week for the first time in memory. Mayor Muriel Bowser must immediately stop giving false and highly inaccurate crime figures, or bad things will happen, including a complete and total federal takeover of the city. Washington, D.C. will be great again. Now, Jesse Waters over on Fox News, he decided to comically roast Washington, D.C. Like only he can. He did a fantastic job. Let me go ahead and bring that up on the screen, and then we will go ahead and watch that together.
Biden could never walk the beat because he couldn't walk. And Kamala never did it because she was afraid of her prosecutor's shadow. I love that Trump's going out there like a general to inspect the troops. Sometimes I go walking through my pod to see my team booking and cutting tape, and I shake their hands and I introduce myself, and they're inspired. I'm inspired. I'm with Greg. This is the best episode of Cops we're ever going to see. I hope he does a field sobriety test on some sloppy drunk kid from Georgetown. I hope they arrest. I hope he goes out with the Vice Squad and finds Adam Schiff trying to score some dope and some women at some seedy hotel on the wrong side of the tracks.
Women?
Didn't say that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And the media's all worried about them getting heckled. Of course, it's D.C. Any other politician would have astroturfed the station and had a bunch of guys in MAGA hats saying 4 more years. These guys didn't care. They rolled up, they rolled out, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. They keep saying, the left, even though she's to my right, that crime is down. Okay, homicides hit a 30-year high in 2023 in D.C. So they're down a little bit this last year in an election year. That's suspicious because they just started juicing the numbers. We just found out they had to suspend a guy for going into the computers at his precinct and downgrading felonies to misdemeanors. Jessica, did you see my show last night?
Yeah, I was glued to the TV.
Good. So you saw the guy who runs the police union in D.C. say that when they get onto a scene and there's a kid with bullet holes all in his abdomen and one of the witnesses won't cooperate because it's gang related, a captain will come onto the scene and say, you know what, we're not going to call it a shooting. We're just calling it taking an injured guy to the hospital. Or if there's a stick-up, armed robbery, guy's a gun, takes your cash and your phone, they'll come along and say, you know what, not armed robbery, we'll just call it a theft. It's a misdemeanor. I wouldn't be surprised from maybe somebody in the White House, they have to make the crime numbers go down. And I bet it's bigger than just Washington, D.C. I bet the word went out, and that's why you had all these, crime's down. Trust me, Jessica, you guys, when we start looking under the hood, you're going to see a bunch of fake numbers.
All right. So he keeps razzing Jessica Tavrov because she's the Democrat on the 5 representing the left. So they like to razz her a lot. We already know that they were lowering crime stats. They were changing felonies to misdemeanors, changing homicides, all in an attempt to make Biden look like a tough president. But in reality, he was the weakest president we've ever had, although he did do a lot of damage. All right, President Trump got a huge win for the MAGA agenda. The Supreme Court is going to allow the Trump administration to cancel $783 million in NIH grants tied to diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Almost $800 million for this stuff. The ruling partially overturned a block issue by U.S. District Judge William Young, who had halted the cuts after lawsuit from health organizations and Democrat state attorney generals. The administration argued that the grants, including projects such as Buddhism and HIV stigma in Thailand, did not align with its policy priorities and framed the dispute as a matter of contract law. Now, why on earth is American taxpayer money going to be in Thailand? I could see if it was the stigma of HIV in America, but over in Thailand, give me a break. Meanwhile, a federal judge has blocked Florida and the Trump administration from adding new detainees to the controversial Alligator Alcatraz immigration facility in the Everglades, ordering the site to be dismantled and never built again within 60 days. U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams ruled the facility violated the National Environmental Policy Act, which requires environmental review and public input. What? What are we in California where you can't build because you might crush a flower or a frog? Now, opened in July by Governor Ron DeSantis, it holds up to 4,000 people as part of Trump's massive deportation crackdown. The site must now halt construction and remove fencing, generators, and infrastructure within 60 days. The decision came after a lawsuit from environmental groups, including Friends of the Everglade and the Center for Biological Diversity and Muskogee Tribe, who argued the facility threatens the fragile ecosystem and endangered species in the Big Cypress National Preserve. This will most likely is not over, but as of right now, don't book a trip to Alligator Alcatraz because they won't let you in.
When you've got smoke-free satisfaction, you've got the freedom to do things your way.
Right now, don't book a trip to Alligator Alcatraz because they won't let you in. But that's not all. Another federal judge has come after the Trump administration ruling that Alina Habba, former attorney of President Trump, has been unlawfully serving as U.S. attorney for the District of New Jersey. They are trying to now have her removed. U.S. District Judge Matthew Braun issued a 77-page decision after defense attorneys challenged her authority in multiple criminal cases, declaring that Habba has no legal power to prosecute. Now, isn't that pathetic? They're trying to get her removed because certain big names in politics were arrested for breaking the law, and now they're trying to cover up their crimes. The ruling is stayed pending appeal, with Attorney General Pam Bondi promising to fight what she denounced as activist judicial attacks. All right, switching gears to international news, U.S. CENTCOM announced yesterday that American forces killed a senior ISIS leader during a raid in northern Syria. The unnamed operative was a key financier responsible while maintaining regional networks that threatened U.S. coalitions and the new Syrian government. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper reaffirmed the U.S. commitment to hunting down ISIS operatives, vowing to ensure their permanent defeat and protect new allies. The strike follows last month's operation that eliminated top ISIS figure Dia Zawaba Musla al-Hardani, along with his two sons. Over in Taiwan, they have announced that they will be upping their defense budget in order to come in line with President Trump's request that all NATO nations pay their fair share if they want the United States to back them during a kinetic conflict. So now people are saying that Trump bullied Taiwan into spending more money on war, which is not true. If you're going to be a part of NATO, you have to pay your fair share. It's not fair for U.S. taxpayers to have to pay everybody else's share. All right, that's my update for today. As I know more, I will definitely come on and share more with you. If you could, give this video a like, hit that share button, stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video.
Okay, Brian, craziest touchdown ever.
Tennessee Titans, Music City Miracle.
Tyson snags it, starts running like he's double pumped. What does a play like that do to the locker room?
Thank you, Bill and Dana. Yes, we are following major breaking news this hour. You're looking live on your screen of an FBI raid, agents inside the home and the office of former National Security Advisor John Bolton. President Trump expected to speak from the Oval Office in just about 1 hour, as he says he knew nothing about this raid. He could take more questions from reporters next. In Texas, the state Senate floor just opened for a vote on a new congressional map in that state, and we could see more delays and drama from Democrats today. Plus, in just about 30 minutes or so, Lyle Menendez will go before California's parole board in hopes of being freed more than 35 years after killing his parents. But we start with that stunning raid right now. FBI agents are at the home and office of President Trump's former National Security Advisor, John Bolton. We're told that it is part of a high-profile national security probe. This is the Faulkner Focus. Hello and welcome. I'm Aisha Husney in for Harris. President Trump made his first comments about this raid just a short time ago. Listen.
I don't know about it. I saw it on television this morning. I'm not a fan of John Bolton. He's a real sort of a lowlife. He's not a smart guy, but he could be a very unpatriotic guy. I mean, we're going to find out. I know nothing about it. I just saw it this morning. They did a raid.
Well, as that was happening, FBI Director Kash Patel posted on X, "No one is above the law. FBI agents on mission." And Attorney General Pam Bondi adding this, "America's safety isn't negotiable. Justice will be pursued always." And Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino adding, "Public corruption will not be tolerated." We've got former Assistant U.S. Attorney Andy McCarthy and former FBI agent, Special Agent Nicole Parker standing by for us. But first, let's get to David Spunt, who's been on this story all morning long. And David, no word yet from Bolton.
No word yet, Aisha, from Ambassador Bolton. We've reached out to him. Somebody called from our Fox organization and phone immediately. We've reached out to his attorney, reached out to Bolton directly. It's not unusual that Bolton may come out. Live look right now outside his Washington, D.C. office about 7 o'clock this morning, but it began first at his home in Bethesda. Now, we're told there are still agents in both locations right now. As far as what agents are looking for, several sources tell Fox News they are looking for potentially classified documents. The FBI is not commenting. The Justice Department is not commenting. But what's unclear, what documents they are specifically looking for.
You must stash your money. You must stash your money.
Oh boy, good afternoon. I'm Danny D'Arvina, filling in for Benny Johnson, who is taking some much-deserved time to spend with his family today. There is some massive breaking news unfolding right now. Let's go live. We have right here a shot right outside of the Oval Office where President Trump is expected to make what he teed up as a massive announcement. Just this morning, we saw President getting hardened criminals off our street.
Before one week.
Update maybe on the crime rates in D.C. Of course, this is the 8th consecutive day.
It can record videos anytime, anywhere to capture your travel experiences. It can also take photos for you and automatically upload the videos and photos to the mobile app.
All right, we're live. Come on in, folks. Got a big situation going on in Bethesda, Maryland. FBI raid at the former Trump National Security Advisor's home. John Bolton. We got a situation going on right now. FBI conducted a search warrant. Apparently, we're going to see what's happening in front of his house here.
No one's talking.
Because it seems like there's some activity going on. And we're going to talk about this. This is a big, big deal, folks. Trump's FBI raids on John Bolton's home while he was inside as part of a national security investigation. National security investigation going on. We are in Bethesda, Maryland. I'll get you the actual address. But apparently at 7 a.m. this morning, there has been an FBI raid at the home of John Bolton. What in the heck's going on here? And they got a lot of media out there, like the AP and Fox 5 and different media organizations perched out there. Now, it's unclear if these are FBI agents' vehicles or his own vehicles. Now, me and Magnolia personally saw this morning and kind of chuckled. We kind of laughed. I'll be honest. I kind of laughed on this one because I'm not a fan of John Bolton. I'm not a fan of him ever since the George Bush era, warmonger.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry about that.
Well, people call him a warmonger. What's going on here? People call him a warmonger. Many don't like him. FBI Director Kash Patel put out, no one is above the law. No one is above the law. FBI agents are on a mission.
It's been a long
So another thing is, too, we're trying to get the images. Apparently, they made him come out in his underwear. So I'm not a personal fan of John Bolton. If you want to get a little personal, my own opinions about the matter. Apparently, he probably was. This is a national security investigation. He probably kept it secret. Secret.
I want to see that stuff.
Secrets inside his home. Well, what was inside his home and who was he feeding the secrets to? Media? His sources with the Washington Post? What's going on? A live look outside John Bolton's home as a massive FBI raid happened just a little bit ago. He was at his home when this happened. You know, they give you the element of surprise, by the way. The raid involving classified documents. FBI raid. Classified documents. That's what the, it's over. Classified documents. Now they're in front of his home. Bethesda, Maryland. Bolton served as President Trump's national security advisor from 2018 until 2019. He regularly appears on TV shows criticizing Trump's national security strategy and foreign policy. Apparently, he had classified documents. That's the way I'm seeing here. You know, a lot of times the warrants and whatnot are kind of, you know, they're kind of tight-lipped on what exactly is going on. They made his wife come outside. Gretchen. He has a wife named Gretchen Smith Bolton. And they made her, if they're still here. We'll see. We'll see. I think this is still FBI. The way I'm reading the feeds, it seems like they rolled up in their vehicles. So we're looking at a situation right now, but that's a nice little home. We'll see what's happening here. FBI raid. John Bolton's home. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't appear like those are John Bolton's vehicles. Let me look at the license plate on one vehicle. I think it's Washington, D.C. That's a Maryland plate on the Ford. FBI agents raiding the home of John Bolton. The element of surprise. One thing the FBI likes doing is coming to get you when you're sleeping. They like to come and get you in the morning when you're sleeping. As some people might know, some people know that about 5, 6, 7 a.m., when you're best part of waking up, you start getting coffee in your cup or you're in bed and the FBI comes. Pretty crazy. John Bolton's home. To humiliate him. Seriously. I think they did it this way to humiliate him because, normally these type of like that, they, FBI Director Kash Patel even tweets out, so they want to humiliate him. They want to humiliate him. We'll put the tweet up of Kash Patel. He says, no one is above the law. FBI agents are on a mission. It's 7:03 a.m. FBI agents raid the D.C. home of Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, Friday morning. Federal agents went to Bolton's home in Bethesda, 7 a.m., which you see here.
So this is how political stock trading actually works. You know how in a poker game, when the players know the next hand?
Federal agents went to Bolton's home in Bethesda, 7 a.m., which you see here. In an investigation ordered by FBI Director Kash Patel. We'll see what happens here. The probe, which is said to have classified documents, was launched 1 year ago. Classified documents.
Right. I mean, basically, the bar is pretty low. I mean, basically, the probable cause is not guilty. But the affidavit has to basically say they have probable cause more likely to.
I think they're talking about the affidavit of probable cause. We'll see exactly who comes out.
Which you can't absurd because it says this is 5 years. This is the first person that's 5 years old.
I'm not sure if these are FBI agents' vehicles. Trying to get some clarification, but the way I'm seeing some of the pictures, I mean, I don't see how somebody could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vehicles in their driveway on top of a garage like that. I mean, there's media, there's all types of people. We're on John Bolton watch. Normally, I don't. The way they're showing pictures as if there was no cars there before. I think these could be agents. I mean, if they come at 7 o'clock and it's 9:24, 2 hours dealing with classified documents, you would think that they would be going through every nook and cranny of the house, searching every tooth and nail inside his home, garage, attic, safes, under the bed, cabinets and closets. That really doesn't take like an hour. It takes a while, especially when you're dealing with classified documents. Somebody with classified documents could have it stuffed in a genie bottle, put in a safety deposit box under a bed, hid under the wall, hid in the wall, under the floorboards somewhere. Hi, Charlie. How are you? Good morning. Now, this is, John Bolton, politically, whatever side you lean on, most people don't like John Bolton at all. He is referred to the warmonger. The warmonger. So, some people, whether they like Trump or not, kind of agree and like that the fact that John Bolton's home is getting raided. You following me? And they know exactly what they're looking for. I mean, you got to get probable cause to be able to, get the warrant signed off from a judge to do this. This was his wife. This was his wife earlier today. So his name is Gretchen Smith Bolton. So his wife, there's reports they made him come out in his underwear, but I can't find any photos of his underwear. How humiliating. How humiliating. See, the FBI. There's photographs of the FBI. There at his home, clearly Bethesda. John Bolton, former national security advisor to Trump. He's known for the mustache. Right? Go on a lot of the talking networks. Many people speculate that he would leak information to the Washington Post, New York Times, other publications, release information for his own agenda. Many people feel like he's controlled by businesses that advocate for war, has a lot of stock and bonds and investments in companies that advocate and want war in this country, war in the world. Warmonger. Oh, we got some activity outside his house. I saw people. What do we got? There's people out there. I saw somebody. Somebody's in his driveway. Who is that? Oh, yeah, the FBI. They're there. They're there. The FBI's still there. Look, they're there. The FBI is at John Bolton's house. Holy smokes, I saw it. They're there. That's them. And they didn't leave. Oh, the FBI didn't leave. FBI raid, John Bolton's home. They're there. That's them. Let's see if they come out with boxes. Let's see what they come out as. Yep, FBI, they're there. Holy smokes, they're there. What do we got?
Commercial, come on. Anytime today. Let's go, you two.
Where's John Bolton? Unclear if they put him in cuffs or not. Sometimes with these raids, they do. Look how many people out there. Look, they got the media out there and everything. So they're there. I saw the FBI jacket. That's them. Search warrant. They're conducting a search warrant. We'll see what kind of boxes they come. We're on John Bolton watch. Magnolia's not a fan of John Bolton at all. This is crazy that they actually have the media doing a FBI raid in front of John Bolton's house. Unbelievable. Yeah, we get the suspense music going. Eddie. There we go. What are they going to get? John Bolton. National security secrets. Are they going to take him away in cuffs? They're going to take him away in cuffs. For people that are coming in, we're watching an FBI raid in real time. John Bolton's home, former national security advisor. The music's great. John Bolton is an American attorney, a diplomat, Republican consultant, and political commentator. He served as the 25th United States ambassador to the United Nations from 2005 to 2006. He served as the 26th National Security Advisor of the United States 2018-2019. He served as Assistant Attorney General to Ronald Reagan from 1985 to 1989. He served in the State Department as an Assistant Secretary of State for International Organization Affairs from 1989 to 1993. He was an advocate for the Iraq War as director of the project The New American Century, which favored going to war with them. He was the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations from 2005 to 2006, appointed by George W. Bush. He served as Trump's national security advisor from April 2018 to September 2019. He repeatedly called for the termination of the Iran nuclear deal. Bolton is widely considered as a foreign policy hawk and advocates military action and regime change by the U.S. in Iran, Syria, Libya, Venezuela, Cuba, Yemen, and North Korea. They call him Mr. Warhawk. Bolton's boxers. Yeah, Bolton's boxers. Waiting for the images of Bolton in his underwear. Or in his nightgown, whatever he wears.
Alright, well, I'm going to go use the bathroom.
What are they going to come out with?
You all can watch us here and take in. There's more coming, y'all.
Jeff says there are 5 other raids currently happening all over the place.
Let's get this there and go to the next.
Thank you for the information. Thank you for the scoop, Jeff. Our eyes
all this stuff
on Bolton's home. FBI raid.
I think what the next one is. What was that one there?
This little thing helped me more than my last therapy session. It's called the Pandy, a lifelike plush toy designed and powered by
Oh, you.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. There is an absolute and total full-scale collapse of the Democrat Party that is happening at scale right now, and you can see it with the cash on hand. This is a great indicator of which party has the cultural power, because no business leader, I don't care how left or right you are, wants to invest in a failing thing. And after Kamala Harris drained $2 billion from the coffers of Democrats, and Kamala Harris quite the capacity to drain Democrat men, if you know what I mean. Well, the DNC has been left broke. Republican National Committee now has nearly $100 million on hand. The DNC has 13. That makes it inoperable. I mean, you can't do payroll with that. $70 million difference between the two of them. The DNC has less cash on hand this summer than they did at any point in the last 5 years inside the DNC's money problems. Now it looks like they're going to have to take out loans. Wouldn't that be perfect? Somebody help me out. Trump cuts off U.S.A. and Ukraine cash, and suddenly the DNC is going broke. And left-wing media outlets are shuddering. Would you look at that? Cash on hand. Across regular FEC filing dates back to 2020, currently a 5-year collapse. Look at that. Just destroyed. Now President Trump is saying not only that, but you're finished forever as a party. DNC cash on hand is low because, well, Democrats are losing, and everybody can see what the maps look like. In a redistricting war, Republicans win because Republicans have been way more cucked and weak than Democrats. Democrats have gerrymandered within an inch of their lives as much as they possibly can do. There's nothing left for Democrats to gerrymander. Meanwhile, there are Republican states, deep Republican states like Texas, that still allow Democrats to hold gerrymandered seats in their favor. Texas is changing that. Texas finally has passed their brand new map, adding 5 new congressional seats for Republicans. Donald Trump celebrated the victory, Texas GOP, by saying that you will have 100 new seats. Oh yeah, baby. Check this out. Big win for the great state of Texas. Everything passed in our way to 5 more congressional seats, saving your rights, your freedoms, and your country itself. Texas never let us down. Florida and Indiana and others are looking to do the same. More news on that in a second. More seats equal less crime. Great economy. Strong Second Amendment. And it means happiness and peace. But Republicans, there's still one thing even better. Stop mail-in voting. A total fraud that has no bounds. Go to paper ballots before it's too late. At 1/10 of the cost, faster and more reliable. If we do these two things, we will pick up 100 more seats, and the crooked game of politics will be over. God bless America. The game is over. Texas Republicans passing their new map. Oh yeah, baby. Big win for the great state of Texas. Everything passed. Strong, strong, strong. This was the news all last night, and now followed up with Missouri. Missouri planning on redrawing their maps. Like, why the hell would Missouri, a state that Donald Trump wins by 20 points, allow for these little crime-infested rat holes to have the Democrats effectively gerrymander their own seat? It doesn't make any sense. You just split that thing up, right? You just take a piece of this and a piece of that, and you say, that's a red district now. It's like 2 more Republican seats right there. Missouri is planning on doing the same thing. Florida is planning on doing the same thing. Here's the news out of Texas.
Breaking tonight, Texas Republican legislators have just won their fight over redistricting. Just moments ago, the state House vote is now final. The bill aims to provide 5 additional congressional seats for the GOP. Correspondent Garrett Tenney shows us what's happening from Austin, Texas tonight. Good evening, Garrett.
All right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Victory. Texas House passes. New congressional map. Final passage is expected in the Texas Senate. Americans win. Democrats lose. They're going to lose this race. Now that Republicans are planning on fighting back, they will lose this race. Here's Greg Abbott. Today, I will expand the special session to call for benefit Texas for generations, impose penalties on absent legislators, expand access to ivermectin, protect East Texas groundwater, also flooding damages and so on. We will not allow the Texas legislature to be hijacked by rogue Democrats. Good for you. Strength. The will to power, right? The strength to actually wield power. This is what Democrats have done for a very long time. Texas Democrats are now on the verge of tears. Look at this, fighting, crying. Members of the Texas House Republicans explaining what they're going to do to ensure that these weepy, sniveling, woke creatures stage an insurrection again. Here we go.
We needed to do it, and quite frankly, I wish we'd already done this by now and had it in the rear review mirror. I mean, these crocodile tears and bad kabuki theater coming from the Democrats right now is just pathetic. I mean, quite frankly, my fourth graders' production of Shrek last year had better acting. These Democrats are pretending they don't like redrawing maps for partisan political purposes, but the reality is Democrat state after Democrat state has been doing this for decades. The dirty little secret is they're only objecting now because it's Republican states that are finally doing it. And as to why to do it now, there's lots of reasons. The Census Bureau itself has admitted that it massively undercounted the population of the state of Texas. Therefore, we're depriving people of fair representation right now if we don't do this. So we've got to fix that. Number two, we have had a massive shift in voting trends since that census 5 years ago, in particular among Hispanic populations and voters down near the southern parts of the state in the Rio Grande Valley who are fleeing the failed liberal policies of the Democrat Party in droves. And then also, just since 5 years ago, we have had millions and millions of people pour into the great state of Texas, quite frankly, many of them leaving leftist Democrat progressive states like California and New York, and those people need to be represented. So the reality is it's past time. We should have done this by now for Texas to pass a map that more accurately reflects the will of the voters in the great state of Texas, and that's what I hope we're going to at least make some progress on today.
One more little nugget in the absolute and total wholesale collapse of what we've seen in this country is the Democrats face, for the first time ever, of the 30 states that track voter registration by political party, Democrats lost ground to Republicans in every single one between 2020 and 2024 elections, often by a lot. 4-year swing towards Republicans adds 4.5 million voters, deep political hole that could take years for Democrats to climb out of. Look at this. This is nuts. Look at this. There's not a single state that's up in Democrat registrations. Meanwhile, Republicans have some deficits in some states, like Colorado, that's to be expected, but have massive upswings.
I had no idea that fleas could survive underwater for 24 hours, making them incredibly difficult to drown. So the baths I was giving my dog were basically useless, but I discovered a great trick that eliminates them for less than $40. I was honestly surprised when this worked for me because I have virtually tried everything. Costly flea drops, harsh chemical flea collars, and combing my pets every day. So sure, the fleas would die down a bit, but they always returned. I even tried 5 different DIY tricks, but nothing. But then I discovered this amazing concentrate, and it turns out I didn't need expensive treatments to protect my pets from fleas. This incredible solution eliminates fleas on contact, ensuring my pets are happy and healthy. They haven't felt this
Colorado, that's to be expected, but have massive upswings across the country. Stampede away from the Democrat Party is occurring in battleground states and bluest states and the red states too, according to a new analysis by voter registration by the New York Times. Analysis used voter registration data compiled by a nonpartisan data firm. This is a nightmare. The few measurements reflect the luster of the political party's brand more clearly by the choice of voters identifying with it, whether they register on a clipboard or a supermarket parking lot or at the DMV or at their own home. Fewer Americans are choosing Democrats. The Democrats know this. They're losing their minds. Get a load of this. Here's a Democrat California senator explaining why they must gerrymander their House map, and they have to try and desperately stop Trump's deportations because they're deporting their voters. If your cousin is deported, if the census we rely on doesn't include 1.5 million illegal aliens in it, we have no democracy left. Oh, really? We know what's coming. Get a load of this.
To preserve redistricting in the future is to make sure that that doesn't become the case. If California's, if a year from now, or a month from now, or if a week from now, if your cousin is kidnapped off the street, if UCLA closes down, if we announce that there won't be an election, if the census that we're relying on for the commission's next stab at redistricting doesn't include 1.5 million Californians in it, if we have no democracy left and we look back and said, if only we could have done something. Well, the nice thing about this is that we are in a time machine. We can do something. We know what is coming because it's in Project 2025. It's been.
Sometimes it's nice when they're dumb enough to just lay it all out there. And it's nice to be proven right again. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Democrats in collapse.
All right, I've got so many big news stories for you. President Trump's $500 million lawsuit is tossed out. I'll go into details. On the day he gets good news, Democrats accuse him of using his influence to enrich himself and his family. I'll go into details on why that is a lie. Russia does one of its biggest attacks on Ukraine, leading many to believe that maybe Putin is being dishonest with Trump and NATO. This and much, much more. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. Let's jump right in. President Trump has poured more than $100 million into bonds since becoming president in late January of 2025, according to the Office of Government Ethics. There was a complaint that said that Trump was using his influence to get rich off of the stock market. Off of the stock market. The filing shows the activity began immediately with over 30 bonds purchased on January 21st alone and nearly 700 by August 1st. Certified reports, however, confirm the investments are entirely handled by a third-party financial institution. Is invested. The portfolio spans municipal and corporate bonds, ranging from Triborough Bridge and Tunnel Authority to health facilities to Michigan Power to Johnson County Park, Home Depot, T-Mobile, United Health Group, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, Qualcomm, and more. So while the critics say, keep digging, there's got to be more there, the ethics watchdogs are saying there's really nothing here. But Democrats say it's not good enough. Continue to dig into President Trump to find how he's made so much money. Well, he's made most of his money before he became president, you dimwits. So while members of Congress are using insider trading secrets to become super rich Donald Trump hired a third party to manage his money and mostly put it into bonds. What a difference, right? All right, Vice President J.D. Vance gave a fiery speech where he discussed what he and President Trump have been doing for the country. It's really, really incredible. And I don't think I'm going to play the entire thing, but let me at least play some of it for you right now, because I think you guys will find this very, very interesting.
If you go back 50, 60 years, what is the fastest period for blue-collar wages rising in the United States of America? It is the time that we are living in right now, thanks to the economic policies of Donald J. Trump. You know what the worst thing for people at the bottom of the income ladder is? It's when you flood the country with millions upon millions of illegal aliens and force our poor Americans to compete for jobs against low-wage foreigners who don't even have the legal right to be here. That is what destroys the wages and the livelihoods of people who are struggling in this country. We want to empower them to live the American dream. That's why we're protecting their jobs, lowering their taxes, and fighting to make their country safe again.
All right, he's right. This is what Democrats and the old Republican Party wanted. Lots of foreigners willing to work for pennies on the dollar, replacing Americans. If they could, they would send those jobs overseas to pay even less, fractions of pennies on the dollar, but not anymore. Under J.D. Vance and President Donald J. Trump, investment is rising, wages are rising, American workers are rising. The only thing that's really going down is these foreign workers that are losing their jobs. And this is really, really good for the United States of America. Oh, the irony. Senator Adam Schiff, the guy who's been dodging political bullets like a mortgage fraud probe. Now, he says he's completely innocent, and there is no there. There's nothing to see. This is all political retribution from Donald Trump because Donald Trump is such a wicked, evil person. So if you're so guilty, why have you created a legal defense fund? Why are you now begging your voters and donors and Hollywood elites to pour millions of dollars into a legal defense fund? So he says, I'm totally innocent and there's nothing to see here. At the same time, he's begging for money. He's absolutely begging for money. So the DOJ has put a major spotlight on his alleged fraud. President Trump has put a spotlight. He falsified documents in order to get better mortgage terms, lower down payment, better interest rates. Schiff says that this is a baseless smear. However, he's the one that signed the documents. He's the one that put his name to paper saying that this was a primary residence. So he's in big trouble. And we're going to continue to expose him here on the channel. All right, now a new intelligence report shows Dr. Anthony Fauci knew with certainty that COVID was man-made and came from the Wuhan lab of China, where he gave money to do illegal gain-of-function research. Not only did he know this in 2020, but it's now believed he knew it as early as 2019, and U.S. intelligence agencies helped him to cover this up.
Watch what milk does to your eyes. Take a look at these two retina scans. They both look healthy, sharp, and focused, but only one of them belongs.
Helped him to cover this up. It's disgusting. Millions of people died, and now this guy is just out walking around. Let's go ahead and listen to this report together.
I think every American should be upset with Fauci, no matter what their political affiliation. This was somebody who was the head of U.S. biodefense. Much like J. Edgar Hoover, he was sort of embedded in government for decade upon decade upon decade, and accumulated massive influence over that time, overseeing a multi-billion-dollar portfolio. And when a novel virus came along that a lot of circumstantial evidence tied to a lab that he had sent funding to and sent sensitive IP to, he used his position as the head of U.S. biodefense, including multiple meetings with the National Security Council in January and February 2020, never mentioned this connection, and in the public, used his position as, for a time, a trusted voice in the media to also suppress this theory that would have massive reputational consequences for him. So this is someone who put his own personal interests and covering his butt basically over national security. And there were a lot of other mini Faucis sort of embedded in the deep state as well, who, when presented with evidence, looking at the viral genome, and the viral genome contains clues suggesting engineering that Chinese authorities couldn't hide. Chinese authorities, they can, order their labs to destroy samples. They can delete sequences from databases. What they can't do is hide the genome of the virus itself. And our smartest scientists were saying there are clear signs that this is a lab-generated virus embedded in the genome that Chinese authorities are powerless to hide. And Fauci used his enormous influence to suppress that fact. COVID infected Democrats and Republicans, and I think no matter what your affiliation is, you should be upset that you were deceived for years.
I am, but now this new report up and buried it, and that Fauci knew as early as 2019 is really, really frustrating. I really hope that they will undo his auto pen pardon, and we will see him basically brought to justice. I'll talk more about that in a minute. In a stunning turn of events, a New York appellate court earlier today tossed out a massive $515 million civil fraud penalty against President Donald J. Trump, deeming it excessive under the Eighth Amendment. The ruling from a divided 5-judge panel upheld Judge Arthur Engoron's findings that Trump and his son Eric and Don Jr. committed fraud by inflating financial statements to secure favorable loans. However, the court spared Trump the crippling fine, though it upheld non-monetary sanctions like barring Trump and his son from corporate leadership roles for years. Trump hailed the decision as a total victory on Truth Social, stating, "I greatly respect the fact that the court had the courage to throw out this unlawful and disgraceful decision that was hurting businesses all throughout New York State." New York Attorney General Letitia James, who brought the case, vowed to appeal, saying the court affirmed the well-supported finding. Donald Trump. This case may now head to New York's highest court. So even when Trump wins, they say, we're going to continue to go after you and try to ruin your life. So I don't know that Letitia James is going to be around long enough to see the outcome of this. But as of right now, the $515 million wiped out. The $175 million that Trump had to put up as collateral will be returned to him and his family and his business. So it is a total victory, and we can all move on. And Letitia James will most likely be rotting in jail after doing mortgage fraud, the very thing that she accused Donald J. Trump of doing. All right, I've got more big stories for you, but first, a word from today's video sponsor. Hey friends, I've got something huge for you today, but it's only for a limited time. As you know, I've partnered with Monetary Gold, the company I trust when it comes to protecting your retirement.
EZO Asset Sonar simplifies IT asset management with real-time visibility, automated workflows, and audit-ready compliance.
Speaking of the DOJ and transparency, I know you guys have also been at the tip of the spear on all things Epstein. I'm just curious if you guys have gotten any documents or any movement on that front.
We were obviously very vocal. We thought the rollout of the announcement to close it down was clearly botched, and I think that's not even controversial to say right now. I think everyone agrees it was botched. But there was a development today. You might recall a month or so ago, there was this theory that was put out there that the DOJ would ask a grand jury to release documents and to take everyone's kind of eye off the ball for a little bit. And then today, the judge overseeing that basically said, hey, guess what, guys? There's not really any documents here. There's no witnesses who even testified to the grand jury, or victims rather. Only one government witness who had no idea what was going on. There's only a few dozen pages of documents. And furthermore, hey, Department of Justice, you're the one who have all the information. You can release it if you want. Now they've said, the DOJ, they're going to start giving things to Comer. As I've long been saying, this thing's a mess. It'd be great if the U.S. government could just come clean. Epstein was an intel asset of either ours or somebody else. I think everyone kind of knows what's going on at this point, and it wouldn't hurt just to be candid about that, one very, basic fact, and maybe a little promise never to take advantage of a, sex trafficker in this regard again.
I'm curious what you make of the appointment of former AG Andrew Bailey to the co-deputy director of the FBI.
Yeah, well, look, at the beginning of our audit pen investigation, because he brought the issue back to the forefront when he challenged all of Biden's basically actions based on competency issues. So I've long been a fan of his. I'll say it's highly unusual for there to be a co-deputy director of the FBI. So I think it kind of points to a potential shakeup there. There have been some missteps along the way. We haven't seen the FBI substantially reformed. Instead, we've kind of been told it's great now that there's new leadership there and we shouldn't worry and we should just applaud. That's not to say Cash and Dan haven't done some good things, but when you bring in a new senior leader at this point, I think it, tends to confirm what it looks like, that there's going to be some changes at play. I don't know if that's ultimately personnel. I don't know if that means the FBI is going to change in tactics and actually work towards some serious prosecutions instead of just, papering over old things. But I'm hopeful. In Bailey, we trust, and we've trusted before, though.
All right. I want to get your thoughts on that. So a couple of things. This top of the Department of Justice puts out this Saturday morning email saying, this looks really bad. You cannot do these auto pen pardons. Why am I not hearing from the president? I need to know the intent of the president. I need the direction directly from the president. Nothing ever happened. So I'm really hoping and praying that those get unwound. Now, the other thing, AG Andrew Bailey. Yesterday, I was reading and hearing that he's being brought in because of his legal expertise in order to help and other FBI people. They're saying, actually, Dan Bongino might be getting replaced. And he is basically going to be training Andrew Bailey on what's been going on, get him up to speed. I'd like to know what your thoughts are in the comments. Are they gearing up with a co-director to bring people down because he has good legal experience? Or is Dan Bongino about to be replaced? I don't know. FBI whistleblower Kyle Seraphin told Alex Jones that he's hearing that Dan Bongino is about to be replaced. Mike Howell just said something like that. I don't know the answer. Okay. Tulsi Gabbard said, it's time for DNI 2.0. She is laying off about 40% of the DNI workforce. Some of them will be shifted over to the CIA. Some of them will be fired. She cited decades of bureaucratic bloat, power abuse, unauthorized links, political weaponization, saying that the worst of it was the Russiagate hoax and the cover-up of the Hunter Biden laptop in order to install President of the United States. She also worries about biolabs, cybersecurity intelligence, and biosecurity threats. She said that this will save the American people about $700 million a year. Again, most of those are going to be reassigned to other parts of the government, with about half of those just being told, thank you for your service. We're absolutely moving on. Now, Gabbard, she is under a lot of pressure because not only is she trying to reform the intelligence agencies, but she's also trying to use past data from these very agencies to prove the coup of Barack Obama. So more will be coming out about that. All right, FBI Director Kash Patel announced earlier today that they were able to arrest somebody in the FBI's top 10. Let me go ahead and play that for you right now.
POV, you just learned what steroid injections do to your knees.
If you're over 40 and you're not doing this, your joints could be in trouble.
Go ahead and play that for you right now.
Under President Trump's leadership about protecting the homeland and our way of life, The FBI continues to go to the ends of the earth to chase violent criminals and terrorists and anyone who will do us harm. So today, I'm proud to announce on your show, thanks to the dedicated women of the FBI, we captured Cindy Singh, who has been a fugitive for multiple years out of the state of Texas. The state of Texas in 2020 of her own 6-year-old child. Her own 6-year-old child. She fled the United States of America years ago and was not seen by anyone for 2.5 years. And thanks to our great work with our partners in the government of India and overseas, we literally captured her for the first time in 2.5 years. She is now in FBI custody, and she's on her way to face prosecution in the state of Texas. And also, thanks to our great partners at the Department of Justice and the Attorney General, she'll also be facing charges of feloniously evading prosecution for those heinous state charges. And just to show you what the FBI and the G-men are doing here and the women are doing here, that is our 4th top 10 capture and arrest in the 6 months of Donald Trump's tenure. That is as many as Joe Biden did in 4 years. On top of that, we're getting folks like people who were involved in the Abbey bombing, and we've already captured one of those folks thanks to our collaboration with Director Ratcliffe. So the FBI is back to going after violent criminals and defending the homeland because that's what Donald Trump mandate was elected to do.
Oh, man, that's amazing. They also just took down a pedophile ring where they were able to save children and arrest several dozen adults. I think Kash Patel's doing a great job. Would I like some of these big stories to come out, some of the big people to be arrested? Yes, absolutely. But the fact that there have been hundreds of children saved and dozens makes me very happy. So this is great news. Did you hear they've captured 4 of the top 10 in the first 6 months, which is more than what Biden did in 4 years. That's really, really amazing. Just really amazing. All right, more information is coming out about how whistleblowers are coming forward saying that they were absolutely told not to investigate Hillary Clinton, that the Clinton Foundation was completely hands-off. There's over 6,000 pages of documents that are missing as part of congressional testimony. And we now know that Sally Yates shut everything down. What we don't know was who told her to do that. Was it somebody higher up in the FBI? Was it somebody higher up in the DOJ? Was it Barack Obama himself? Either way, out of nowhere, this investigation with thousands of pages of documentation and 19 bank accounts being reviewed was suddenly shut down. As I know more, I will come on and tell you more about that. Well, Texas might soon get those 5 additional congressional seats after a redistricting bill passed. This now goes to the Texas State Senate, where it's expected to pass and go to Governor Greg Abbott's desk for signature. President Trump said, big win for the great state of Texas. Everything passed. On our way to 5 more congressional seats and saving your rights, your freedoms, and your country itself. Texas never lets us down. Florida, Indiana, and others are looking to do the same. More seats equals less crime, a great economy, and a strong Second Amendment. It means happiness and peace. But Republicans, there is one thing even better. Stop mail-in voting, a total fraud that has no bounds. Also, go to paper ballots before it's too late, at 1/10 the cost, faster and more reliable. More seats, and the crooked game of politics is over. God bless America. Also, did you see that President Trump put out a fiery post on Truth Social demanding that Gold Star mother Tina Peters in Colorado be immediately released from prison, or he will bring he will go crazy on the state of Colorado. Now, she found evidence that there was cheating in the Colorado election. Then she was immediately arrested, and she's been rotting in jail. She's in her late 70s. Her son was in the military and died for this country. And Trump is saying, I'm about to go ballistic if you do not let this woman go. So lots going on in the country. Sadly, Russia launched 270 drones and 10 missiles at Ukraine. So now you've got many saying, what are we doing here? Are we really trying to bring this war to an end? Or is Vladimir Putin a liar and doesn't really want this thing to come to an end? Sadly, 13,000 civilians have been killed. 569 of them were children. Half of those came just in the last 90 days. So I can see why President Trump wants to bring this to an end and why he's been saying, I believe Putin wants to Putin's court and Zelensky's court. Donald Trump is doing everything he can, but man, these guys are like trying to herd a bunch of long-tailed cats. It's crazy. All right, that's my update for today. If you could, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video.
When you see the camera on these glasses, you must want to know what makes it so special. It can record videos anytime, anywhere to capture your travel.
Welcome to Doug and Exile. This is where the Happy Patriots hang out. Welcome if you're a happy patriot. Come on in, kick your feet up on the table. You can put your feet up on your table here. We're all comfortable in the South. We're going to get into the cancellation of Cracker Barrel, why I will never step in a Cracker Barrel ever again.
I asked this question. I think I probably know the answer. What if all the customers are coming at you hard enough about the look of the restaurant and they want to go back to the old way? Would you do it?
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing.
Shout out to the Quad Club, to the people that watch 4 videos a day. I can't thank you enough. My job here is to entertain, make the news entertaining, and keep you informed. The big news today, one of the biggest news items, is James Comer going after this Ian Sams guy who lied about Joe Biden's mental acuity. This goes into the auto pen scandal. Let's watch Comer.
And yet no one can say for certain I think was given the orders to use the AutoPen. And if you're using the AutoPen to sign one document and Joe Biden's in the White House 75% of the time when the document's used, why not have Joe Biden sign the document right there? Why have to go through all the bureaucracy of using the AutoPen? I mean, this was a huge interview today, and I think it contradicts everything that the former Biden people are saying with respect to the president's mental fitness. There were very few people that were around Joe Biden, especially at the end. And that's when the majority of the pardons and executive orders were signed with that auto pen. I mean, I can't say this enough. I want to say this one more time so everyone understands. Ian Sams, who was the White House spokesperson for a significant amount of Joe Biden's time as president, interacted with him two times. So, we're going to continue to bring people in.
We're going to go into that. First, I'm going to show you Ian Sams. Let's show Ian Sams, this massive liar. Remember this wormy looking dude? This is wormy looking Ian Sams. This is July. Sam's own words lying about President Biden.
Have you ever heard any accounts like that or witnessed that?
No, I've got to say that doesn't look anything like the president that I know. When I deal with him, he's sharp, he's asking tough questions, and he's speaking, I think maybe most importantly, speaking passionately about what matters to him. Yesterday, when he gives the speech about what the Supreme Court did, he drove that speech. He was at Camp David, and he came back earlier so that he could speak to the American people about just how strongly he feels about this decision and how wrong it was. That's the President Biden that so many of us experience every single day.
He experiences Joe Biden every single day. James Comer said under oath, when you bring this worm in under oath, he only met with Biden twice personally. Here he is on the news saying every single day, MSNBC carrying this story, putting out lies to brainwash everyone.
Someone who's asking the tough questions so that we as staff can be sharp to do our job best for the American people and to help him make the best decisions for the American people and how he's executing, like we've talked about during this segment, the powers of the presidency. That's the President Biden that we experience every day.
Experience every day. He's underlining it. There he goes again. Every single day. That's what we see. Why?
he admitted that last week he had a bad night. That he said in his remarks on Friday, he doesn't speak as smoothly as he used to. But the important thing is about the decisions that the president is going to be president is based on what the president has done. And
we did a vote on what he did, and America overwhelmingly threw the worst president in American history out, and we voted out Kamala Harris, who would have been probably the second worst. I think she actually would have surpassed Biden as an even worse president, because even though Biden was near comatose and senile, he's even worse than Kamala Harris, our first alcoholic. She would have been our first alcoholic special needs president.
Think about the way that he's displayed extremely strong wisdom and judgment over the last 3.5 years. You think of the way he's brought the world together against autocratic threats around the world.
Only made the war in Ukraine worse.
I mean, those are the things that he has brought to the Oval Office to help restore American leadership and to try to help, bring some normalcy back to this country.
You don't have to persuade me. I sat across from him exactly a year ago. I think it was a year ago.
The last time this Ian Sam sat across from him was probably a year ago too. Yeah, we don't have to convince MSNBC. You got your marching orders back to Comer.
And again, this person, Ian Sams, is the one that would counter everything Robert Hur, or anytime anyone would suggest that Joe Biden wasn't mentally fit, he would say, no, he's at the top of his game. Every time he tweeted out there several times, he gave interviews on MSNBC. Every time I've interacted with the president, he was sharp. He asked great questions. In there, under oath, he interacted with the president 2 times, the entire time. The entire time he worked in the White House.
That's shocking.
That's astonishing. Any questions?
Did he tell you what those 2 times were? Like, do you know what those 2 interactions
No, he really didn't have a good memory of the 2 times he interacted with the president, which would make me think that he didn't interact with him very long. Let this think.
Even the 2 times under oath, he couldn't remember anything. Can you tell us anything about? I don't remember. Yeah. Stunning. What a massive translation through his thick accent. But I think a lot of my audience is in the South. Let me know in the chat below.
Yeah. Not only did Robert Hur interact longer with Joe Biden than Joe Biden's own spokesperson, I interacted more with Joe Biden than Joe Biden's spokesperson. I flew on Air Force One with Joe Biden to Kentucky when we had a tornado. I talked to him on Air Force One. Ian Sims never flew on Air Force One. Do you recall a president spokesperson not traveling with the president?
Comer spent more time with Joe Biden than Ian Sams. They should bring Comer in and use his expert testimony against Biden's mental acuity. But wait, hold on here. I got another Ian Sams, but I think I'm going to go instead, because Comer's from the South. I think we're going to break into this. This is Cracker Barrel.
When you see the camera on these glasses, you must want to know what makes it so special. It can record videos anytime, anywhere to capture your travel experiences. It can also take photos for you and automatically upload the videos and photos to the mobile app. The coolest thing is that it can scan and recognize the
I'm going to explain to you, because all of us in the South, hey, I love the banjo. I was born in LA, but I live in Tennessee now 10 years. I was raised in the San Joaquin Valley in California. So I was all around country folk. We loved Cracker Barrel. Okay. Here in Tennessee, I've had their chicken fried steak with an egg on it and slather it in gravy. And a lady would come out and give us our coffee. How y'all, honey? Hello, honey. They'd call us honey. I love me, the South. Cracker Barrel has been destroyed by this woke DEI, and now their stock is crashing. This is about woke LGBTQ rainbow attacking Cracker Barrel.
I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So We're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Well, Julie Messina, it's wonderful to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
again.
answering those questions for all the Cracker Barrel fans out there. There's a lot of great changes.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Robin?
Can I get in writing that the peg game is going to stay?
The peg game is staying.
Okay.
So are the rocking chairs, fireplace, vintage decor. It's all there.
All right. Okay, because that would be a deal breaker.
Watch this. Cracker Barrel stock is down. This is 14% in one day. This is so they have the old logo up here with an old man leaning on a barrel. And then this is the new Cracker Barrel logo. I got to get past this rap song because it is protected, but here's a black man with his commentary on Cracker Barrel home location. And this black guy says he liked it better when it looked like it was for crackers.
He said he ate in a remodeled Cracker Barrel and he hated it. And I want to join in on the hate. If the Cracker Barrel don't look like the Jim Crow South, I can't eat there. You got to have the racism aesthetic. You got to have the rocking chairs and the hint of segregation in the air. If I don't feel like I'm on the set of Sinners, then how do I know I'm in a Cracker Barrel? This is a.
I'm laughing at this because I have a black conservative Christian friend, and we used to go to Cracker Barrel together. I can't give away his name, but he would always crack up. He'd look around in Cracker Barrel as a black man, and he'd go, "Now I see why they call it Cracker Barrel. All I see are a bunch of crackers here." Oh, it's funny.
Gentrified Cracker Barrel. They done took all the character out of it, and I know the edges of the pancake ain't burnt. I gotta feel like somebody wants to say, "Good morning, boy." With respect.
With respect, Cracker Barrel brand in the toilet, but it didn't start there. This is Roby Starbuck on the CEO who ruined the brand. This is on the CEO. Another little known fact, Cracker Barrel was a Nashville Pride sponsor. Did you all know that? Do you want your money to fund Pride? There's Cracker Barrel down there in Nashville Pride, funded by Cracker Barrel. Is that Southern brand? Is this your brand? There's the Cracker Barrel behind. There's a trans person. Rainbow broke out. Special thanks, Cracker Barrel from Nashville Pride Festival. Stop by each booth for freebies all weekend. Roby Starbuck called this out back in June of 2024. Cracker Barrel's gone completely woke, guys. They're about to get the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light treatment. I will never step foot in a Cracker Barrel again. They're trying to remove all their Southern comfort, that beautiful opening store full of all kinds of goo-goo clusters, and you can get Dolly Parton CDs, and inside all those cool signs hanging all around it. This is the cause of it. Julie Fels Messina, CEO of Cracker Barrel and former president of Taco Bell International, has regularly expressed support of inclusion and diversity throughout her career. At Cracker Barrel, under Messina's leadership, the company's official materials and corporate messaging have cited an active commitment to inclusion, detailing strategies such as attract, select, develop, and retain high-performing talent with diverse backgrounds. They went for the diversity, experiences, and perspectives. The company's public culture of inclusion page specifically outlines initiatives in this area and details actions such as considering a diversity of broad candidate selection and broad reporting on the racial and ethnic diversity of its members. Tenure attracted support and criticism. This is Cracker Barrel's DEI, diversity and initiatives that support inclusion and representation of various backgrounds, genders, there's only two, and ethnicities as assertive. They should promote merit instead. And here's the backlash on the internet. Woke Barrel. People started making their own Woke Barrel logo. This is going to crash hard. So I made my own, inspired by these logos. Here's one I made. Cracker. Two crackers sitting by a barrel. I like that one a lot. Here's my other favorite one. This is how you heal your brand, Cracker. I designed this one for you for free. Double barrel. Come on, let's get back to the South. That's what I say. Speaking of healing.
Hey, mama, you got this. I promise you got this. Pull yourself together.
That's what I say. Speaking of healing, This is Ron DeSantis. This is a great one on DeSantis just announced the illegal alien truck driver that took the lives of 3 innocent Americans is being extradited back to Florida. This is about how DEI, which has taken over Cracker Barrel, took the lives of 3 people in Florida. Listen to DeSantis on this.
Ron DeSantis of Florida is talking about the illegal immigrant truck driver who had the driver's license from California that killed 3 people in Florida. Let's listen in.
This is California experienced DEI gave an illegal who can't speak English. This is a Zoroastrian who couldn't speak English, gave him a license. He's driving in Florida, killed 3 innocent people in Florida.
I'm in Florida today, and he will get the book thrown at him very shortly after that, I can guarantee you. So stay tuned. You're going to be able to hear more for that. But how ridiculous is it that somebody would get a commercial driver's license, doesn't understand road signs, doesn't understand these things, and the feds, when they...
Hold on, I'm going to show you this clip. I'm going to get out of the way here so you can see. He's doing a U-turn with his truck, and a van with 3 people in it hit his truck and died.
And the feds, when they had him detained a couple days ago, they did an English test, and he failed abysmally, not even close. Like, not only like, a little English, no, he was terrible, and yet he's getting these commercial licenses from these sanctuary states.
Yeah, this is how DEI kills people even in states that don't practice DEI. My message to Cracker Barrel. That he got a license in California. You know how hard it is? Remember when you got your driver's training, you had to study that little booklet and do all the tests? How did this guy pass that if he can't speak English? Did they give him a test in his language? Because I had to memorize that book, and if you got a certain number of points, you'd fail your driver's test. How did this guy, not able to read signs in English, get a commercial truck driver's license? My brother is a commercial truck driver right now, driving truck. You know how it was so hard for him to pass that test, written exam, driving exam, and this guy got passed. And then he drives in Florida, 3 innocent people dead because of DEI. It's just insane. Here's my contrast with that. I love this too. This is a guy driving I'm going to turn the sound down. This guy is driving between 2 trucks, and doing a backflip on his motorcycle is safer than giving that DEI guy a truck driver's license. No one got killed on that. Does a backflip off the bike, lands it. That's another angle. Here he goes. He goes off it, over the sign, sticks the landing. That move, less people died. No one died in that move. Now, just in contrast to the South, I thought I'd leave you guys with some good news here. This is on what Elon Musk did when he took over Twitter. This is David Sachs. He got the call from Elon Musk. I did not know this happened when it happened. And they revealed the actual policing and spying on you at Twitter before Elon Musk bought it.
I mean, there's just a couple of things. If they didn't happen, all of this stuff would still be considered a conspiracy theory, or we wouldn't know about it. Like, if we didn't, nobody else had filed. If we didn't file that lawsuit and seek discovery, and if the richest guy on the planet doesn't choose to buy Twitter and expose all of that, people would still be claiming that this was some conspiracy theory, right? Like, we wouldn't, if you just think of the world would be a much different place right now. And so I think that's a big success.
Well, I agree. And just to take people back, you're exactly right that conservatives were called crazy and conspiracy theorists for believing that Twitter, then Twitter, was shadow banning and throttling.
My account was shadow banned and throttled.
Traffic. And I remember when Elon took over, we had the Twitter transition, and Jake Hall and I were there, and we were just helping out the first couple of weeks. And it was mostly just getting org charts and trying to rationalize the org structure. And Elon went in and started making cuts. But then I think I left around Thanksgiving, and we were all kind of with our families. And, I think we went down to Mexico, and Elon was still there working. And I remember I got a text from him at like 2 a.m. Like, are you up?
They all took a vacation in Mexico, and Elon Musk was working all night on Thanksgiving.
And you up?
You up?
He's going to be a banger.
Yeah, I'm like, sure. Yeah. So anyway, he calls, and basically what he told me was that all the conspiracy theories are true, that we've now gone into the admin tools that the trust and safety team was using, and they literally have checkboxes to throttle accounts based on exclude them from search, and they had all these different tools.
So they keep you from showing up in search. That has happened to me on every platform I've used. So if you search the name, I wouldn't come up back when they shadow banned me. They do not shadow ban me anymore, by the way. YouTube, Twitter, they don't shadow ban me anymore. So you can find me now if you put in a search. But he said all the conspiracies are true. They went in and shadow banned you, removed you from being able to be searched at our government's orders, colluding with our government. And they said we were all crazy. The media sent out that we were all conspiracies.
That they created, again, to throttle traffic, which was effectively shadow banning. So they could just ban you outright, or they could prevent your content from being seen.
And they didn't ban you outright because then you would know if you got banned. So the way that they got around it, but wait, there's more. Here's Trump. This is Michael Flynn. Tina Peters is currently being held in a state facility in Colorado, but she possesses critical information as a potential federal witness in the current investigation ongoing into the stolen 2020 election. I'm not making a statement on that. I'm only saying she's being held. Federal authorities, including Pam Bondi, in order to secure her critical testimony, must immediately move to have Tina Peters released into federal custody. Additionally, a thorough investigation should be conducted into the judge who sentenced her to determine whether her imprisonment was proper or influenced by bias. We know it was. Here's Donald Trump. Radical left Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser ignores illegals committing violent crimes like R and murder in his state and instead jailed Tina Peters, a 69-year-old Gold Star mother who worked to expose and document Democrat election fraud. Tina is an innocent political prisoner being horribly and unjustly punished in the form of cruel and unusual punishment. This is a communist persecution by radical left Democrats to cover up their election crimes and misdeeds in 2020. And again, I'm only saying I want more information on the 2020 election. I'm not pushing out a conspiracy. I'm saying they won't let you look. They won't let Tina Peters out to look. The same Democrat Party that flies to El Salvador to try to free a MS-13 terrorist is cruelly imprisoning, perhaps for life, a grandmother whose brave and heroic son gave his life for America. Colorado, my mom lives in Colorado, must end this unjust incarceration of an innocent American. I am hereby directing the Department of Justice to take all necessary action to help secure the release of this hostage being held in Colorado prison by Democrats for political reasons. Free Tina Peters now. That's August 20th, yesterday. Here's Trump with more. Free Tina Peters, he says. He tweets, a brave and innocent patriot who has been tortured by crooked Colorado politicians, including the big mail-in ballot supporting the governor of the state. Let Tina Peters out of jail right now. She did nothing wrong except catching the Democrats cheat in the election. She's an old woman and very sick if she's not released. I'm going to take harsh measures. Trump gave the warning shot to Colorado. He wants Tina Peters freed, or there will be harsh measures. And on that happy note, you're all caught up on the news. If you like this kind of news, the way you say thank you is you subscribe. Shout out to the Quad Club, to my people who watch 4 videos. Love you all. See you guys tomorrow. I'm Doug in Exile.
Okay, Brian, craziest touchdown ever.
Tennessee Titans, Music City Miracle.
Tyson snags it, starts running like he's double pumped. What does a play like that do to the locker room, though?
Man.
What's up, guys? Spenny, an absolutely massive and historic win for President Trump today in the New York Court of Appeals, who threw out the $500 million civil fraud penalty that Donald Trump was handed by these two colluding scumbags who both belong in prison, and one may well end up in jail for mortgage fraud, which is exactly what they tried to charge President Trump with effectively. It was always a witch hunt, election interference, and total miscarriage of justice. Even a left-leaning New York appeals court agrees. No more lawfare. Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, both Trump boys, celebrating total victory in the sham New York Attorney General case. After 5 years of hell, justice has prevailed. In February of 2024, a New York judge ordered Trump and his companies to pay $360 million plus penalties, claiming they duped banks. This was the same court that says that Mar-a-Lago was worth just $18 million when it is clearly a billion-dollar property. Anybody who's ever been there or knows anything about Palm Beach understands this. New York's appeals court thrown out the unprecedented politically motivated $500 million civil penalties case. They tried to impeach him, imprison him, bankrupt him, and kill him, and they failed. Huge win for Donald Trump. The court threw out the fraud penalty in Letitia James's case. Letitia James, ooh, baby, she can come get it. More on that in a second. Alina Habba, who was the spokesperson for President Trump during these cases, says today's ruling by the New York Appeals Court is a resounding victory for President Trump and his company. The court struck down the outrageous and unlawful $500 million penalty, confirming what we have said from the beginning, that the AG's case was politically motivated, legally baseless, and grossly excessive. President Trump won, and justice won with him. This is a massive L for Big Tish. My, how the tables have turned. Crime scene, Letitia James, in the act of election interference. The entire case against Trump was bogus. The crime was to file charges against him and the Trump organization in the first place. Every talking head lawyer jerk who fueled this sham should be disbarred and arrested. Remember, this is what Letitia James looked like as she stared at President Trump. She knew what she was doing. Here's Fox News covering the breaking news of the case, the New York Post as well. Trump's massive $500 million fraud case thrown out by appeals court.
Want to get back to this breaking news? A New York appeals court has thrown out the massive civil fraud penalty against President Trump to pay more than $360 million plus interest. He was accused, of course, of financial statements, and that penalty has since gone up to nearly $500 million. Our national correspondent Brian Yennis has the latest now about what this all means. Brian?
Hi, Aisha. Well, again, to remind our viewers, this was a civil fraud case brought forward by the Attorney General Letitia James, claiming that the president and his sons in the Trump organization inflated their value and the value of their companies on financial forms. The penalty that they then were handed down after being found guilty in this civil case, or liable, I should say, in this civil case, was that they had to pay $364 million plus interest, which was $515 million. Well, now, after 11 months of looking at this case, the New York Appellate Court has decided to throw out that decision, that penalty, specifically the penalty. And this is the quote: while the injunctive relief ordered by the court is well crafted to curb defendants' business culture, the court's disgorgement order, they found, which directs that defendants pay nearly $500 million to the state of New York, is an excessive fine that violates the 8th Amendment of the United States Constitution. The 8th Amendment bans or calls out excessive bail that shall not be required, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. So this appellate court found that $500 million that the Trump administration, that President Trump was set to owe to the state of New York, was cruel and unusual punishment, excessive, according to the law. The court did find, though, that the president and these defendants were liable. They agree that the Supreme Court, with the Attorney General, that the Attorney General acted well within her lawful power to bring this case forward. And they also found that the Supreme Court properly ruled only on the claims on this, but they obviously did not agree here on the penalty that was handed out. So basically here, after 11 months, the New York Appellate Court finding that this $500 million penalty was far too excessive, that gets thrown out. There are still avenues of appeal here available for the president on other manners with this case, particularly on whether or not this was politically motivated.
Now I see why this mini Wi-Fi camera has been trending online. This thing is awesome. This new subscription free
on other manners with this case, particularly on whether or not this was politically motivated. Aisha.
Okay, Brian Yennis, live for us in New York. Thank you for breaking that down for us.
What I find so fascinating about this news cycle is that Letitia James is guilty of doing the exact same thing that she accused President Trump of doing. Here's investigator for the Department of Justice. Rental property in Manhattan, where she claims, one, residency, but she also has other primary residences in, like, Virginia, for instance. And then, two, she also claims that there are more apartments than there actually are in the building. This is another form of fraud. Good morning, America. How are you? Says Ed Martin with a photo ominously in front of this building. Yeah, baby, things are going to flip and flip hard for Letitia James. Letitia James is not going to do great in this with the DOJ looking into her, and also with the throwing out of this case. The deed from Mar-a-Lago bars Trump from selling the estate. Trump nonetheless told banks, blah, blah, blah. Effectively, the ruling comes after some members of the 5-judge appeals panel appeared to be skeptical of the merits of the lawsuit brought by the AG. This is again in New York. Remember this scumbag? Remember this dirtbag, Arthur Edgerton? Do you remember the stuff that came out about this guy? About how he effectively can just overrule juries anytime he wants to. Also, covers his microphone in plastic. Judge called the size of the penalty troubling and questioned the law that James had used to sue Trump, which does technically require somebody to be harmed and morphed into something it's not meant to do. So this is something that is not. And oh, by the way, the judge are both elected Democrats. James campaigned on promising to investigate Trump, calling it's going to flip around hard on Letitia James. Jonathan Turley sounding off on this on Fox News just a moment ago, breaking down what may be breaking next against Letitia James.
Jonathan, I want to ask you, this doesn't exonerate the president. It still finds him guilty of the crime, but it maybe gives him more of a fair shake.
Well, Aisha, thank you for having me on. This is obviously a tremendous victory for President Trump, but it's long overdue. During this litigation, many of us described this entire effort as a grotesque use of this New York law. No one lost money in this case. The banks actually wanted more business from President Trump. No one had ever seen an effort like this. It was an effort by Letitia James to have a trophy win against Trump. And what this opinion has done is to reduce what was a mounted marlin to something of a guppy. I mean, it has removed the fine and left in place the injunctive relief that President Trump can now appeal. So it is possible that even that could go to the wayside.
All right, well, I can tell you guys this was the last one, and I appreciate everybody who's tuning in tonight. It's been a long day for me, so I am going to call it a night early, because I'm exhausted. I'll see you guys tomorrow. But, yeah, there's a lot more stuff here. But, we got to raise some money, because we're planning on going to Chicago. We're going to do a little interview in Chicago. We're coming there next month. I know lifters can't do it, but we'll be there. The immigrants think they have the rights. The illegals have rights here. So, yeah, it's been a long day, everybody. It's been a really long day for me. Like I said, 4:30. I didn't get to bed till 4:30 this morning, and I got about roughly 2 hours sleep. That's it. So I need to go to bed early. So I think you guys all understand that I'm just because I'm young. I'm still exhausted, buddy. Plus I had to do some work on my car. More work gotta do. I still gotta do another one tomorrow, but I gotta wait for a report to come in. You guys don't understand what it takes to work on cars, man. Yeah, it's not an easy job. Some jobs are, but not all. So, I don't know. I'll see you guys tomorrow, but we do need to start raising money, guys. If you guys help me raise the money, we can go to Chicago here, September 5th. We gotta be there. We have to be there on December 5th. We got to be there before 10:30. I think it's 10:30 or 10 o'clock a.m. We got to be there. So I'm looking at, we're going to be leaving here. I'm going to be leaving early. Because I got to leave early to go to Chicago. I mean, I have to figure out what we're doing. I mean, if we get the money, then we might, I know. Cause I don't know. I might drive there, but if we don't, then I mean, the option is just taking a train. But so, I don't know. All right, thank you everybody, and thank you. And I know lifters are back there being nosy. Lifters, don't forget to hit the like button. You know, hit the like as you're leaving. As you go back downstairs to your basement, eat your hot pockets. And thank you, Gene, for coming in. We're gonna have, like I said, tomorrow. I don't know. Well, we got a lot more to watch, guys. Trust me. Here's a lot. And yes, Trump did paint the border wall painted black. And that was all done intention-wise, so the walls will be black. It'll catch, basically, it'll make the walls, the basic heat be hotter. You know, and there's gonna be a lot more. I have a lot of things that you guys need to start paying attention. You know, so God bless you. Okay.